is Benoit Dromard, and I am Transport and Installation Senior Manager at BlueFloat Energy. My role starts with defining or providing advice at very early stage of floater selection and basic design, so that all the decisions we are making allow to lower the T&I complexity to its lowest possible level. I'm also in charge of defining transport and installation strategies on project-specific basis in order to find the best potential strategy. The idea is to make sure that they are all compatible with commercial scale constraints, and I do that in very close collaboration with our ports and industrialization teams. As part of my role, I'm also in charge of developing T&I execution plans with associated schedules and capex estimations. I'm coming from Bourbon Subsea Services, which is a T&I leading contractor worldwide for floating wind installation. I spent 12 years over there, and during that period I had the opportunity to manage 3 different floating wind installation projects that allowed me to face several technical challenges which are really specific to floating wind, and also to come out with a long list of lessons learned. So part of my day-to-day activities is to make sure that we use these lessons learned to improve the robustness of our projects and ultimately their competitiveness. I see 2 main potential models moving forward in terms of T&I contracting. The first one is large EPCI contracts. The second one would be projects developed around several main key packages, T&I being one of them. There are obviously a lot of advantages to the EPCI model for a developer like us, in particular in terms of bankability. But there are also several challenges associated with this kind of model, and the main one is probably about the IP rights associated with the different floating technologies that we are considering. So to me, I think it's impossible to predict what will be the future, but I believe that both models will coexist. Some projects being developed on an EPCI model and some others being developed with several key packages and then separate contracts. Developing commercial floating wind projects require to solve several design and supply chain issues, and T&I is no exception to this. A key parameter for transport installation is obviously to get access to the right vessels at the right moment. As of today, the vessels that we plan to use in the development of floating wind projects are actually coming from the oil and gas market. If we look at both the oil and gas market and the floating wind market, we can expect a massive shortage in the next 10 years. Part of my job is then to make sure that together with the T&I contractors and the vessel owners, we're able to define the appropriate specifications that we will require so that they can make the right decisions now and be ready when we need them. In that regards, developing the appropriate partnerships with these contractors and developing large pipeline of projects spread over a certain amount of time will help them justifying the investments which are required and will help us getting access to the right vessels at the right moment. There is a lot of technical topics to address when we select a specific technology. The key is actually to be able to make the difference between those which are easily adjustable at basic design phase and those which are inherent to a specific technology and then potential showstoppers moving forward. To make things a little bit more complicated, the T&I complexity is not only driven by the floater itself, but by an overall technical environment which is created by the floater, its station keeping system and inter-array cables. The key when we select a technology is then not only to look at specific technical aspects, but to look at them as a whole in order to select the most appropriate technology in its technical environment. Another key parameter is the industrialization potential of a technology. The very best floater in terms of T&I complexity, the one I can install in the most efficient way and at the most optimum cost, may very well end up being the worst one simply because the delivery rhythm that we need to optimize the offshore installation is not achievable because of a low industrialization capability of a specific technology. Another key parameter when selecting technology is to check its industrialization potential. Offshore vessels cost a lot, and my priority is to make sure that they stay idled waiting for the next floater as less time as possible.